I gotta grab my
These are
drink
the
too.
tales and ramblings of two men, their dream of running a successful food truck business and life. We invite you along to join Josh and Skippy on this journey. This is Monday Morning Food Truck.
Good morning, Skippy. Skippy, where are you? Still getting his drink. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Of course, phone ringing. Perfect timing, everyone. All right. There he is. Skippy's
Woo!
back.
Into focus. Camera seems to be working.
That's a nice change. It's good to see you.
Well, we'll see how long it lasts. Good to see you as well. Good to hear your voice.
Glad someone likes it.
It was being facetious.
Yeah. How was your week? You said you had.
Well, I posted on Facebook. My week is was very long. Been the busiest weekend I've probably ever had. Had over the course of 3 days, had 4 graduation parties, or 1 wedding and 3 graduation parties. This week I have 1 private event, or 2 private events. The following week there's a whole week of private events. So I'm up 23% for the year, trying to hit my goal for this year. Yeah, kicking ass, taking names. Oh, and I just dropped my truck off at the auto service place, and before I got on this wonderful Zoom meeting and podcast with all our awesome listeners, I got a call for how much it was going to cost.
What's wrong with your truck?
It's not what's wrong. It's just maintenance that needs to be done. So I need an oil change on a diesel, which we all know is
About 140.
I don't know where you go. I guess shit.
Mine's only 140.
Mine's always over 200. Always, no matter where I take it, it's always over 200.
Wow.
Brakes, rotors, all 4 tires.
So you're at about 1,400.
Close. 1510.
That's because you have a Ford.
Probably. Well, it's also Bell Tire because they were the only ones that could get in it before like Wednesday, and they were. I was having to use my trailer brakes a lot to stop, so that's always a good thing.
It's a good feeling.
Well, I just had those done the week before, so those were nice and nice and fresh.
Yeah,
other than that,
those are probably worn down from being overused from your truck's brakes being like.
I mean,
I got into that vicious cycle for about a year.
Yeah, well, now they're both done, or both will be done.
Mm-hmm.
My subdivision for tomorrow just canceled because of weather. We're supposed to get rain and thunderstorms over here. Yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay. Now I got to figure out if I want to take a day off or find something to do. So I'll probably take a day off.
Cool.
Yeah, or not. Yeah.
Thanks for the 2-minute weekly recap for you. That was excellent.
Okay. So I'll keep going. You want me to keep going? I'll keep going. We had a great week. It was Brooklyn, our one spot. Everybody asked when we're going to be back, and when we show up, they show up. It's humbling. I'm grateful. I've got to know my regulars. That's even better. I pulled out of the subdivision tour that I was on because it wasn't panning out to be worth my time and effort, and it's hard to drive an hour each way for a few $100s. So yeah, other than that, we booked some more events for the rest of the year. Like I'm on fire. I'm on fire. Like,
En fuego.
I'm en fuego. Yes.
Must be the beard explains it.
Oh, beard's great. It's a good looking beard. Just a second. I didn't really spend a lot of time with it off the topic, but I never spend a lot of time with my father. But I did find out that he didn't really start going gray until he was in his 70s. So something I'm looking forward to, as my wife is now sprouting many a gray hair.
I don't care what color mine turns, as long as it's still there.
Salt and pepper, baby. Salt and pepper.
They can be all salt. I don't care.
You'd be
As
a
long as
mini
it's
Santa
there.
Claus.
I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
So how was your week? You had good days.
It was an okay week. We had a down day Thursday, and what is probably our last time at Brew Merchant.
Yeah.
Yeah. $50 hours isn't really what you want to see on a beautiful day. Actually,
Yeah.
I think Thursday was the day that we had some scattered stuff. That was the day I think we had hail.
Oh yeah, I remember
Or whatever
you
day it was that we were there, yeah. But still, the weather was fine on both sides of that. It was 10 minutes of crappy weather. We did see Sean Mackin from
Yeah, I saw
Macatac.
it.
He came out and saw us, so he said he's only about 20 minutes from there, so
Did you notice the hat he was wearing?
yeah. And?
Oh.
What?
He's wearing my hat.
Yeah?
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, Skippy has merchandise that's not for sale. He just gives it away.
Sometimes it's for sale. I've sold it.
To who?
Uh,
Not Sean.
No, I gave him a hat.
Where can I buy a hat?
I just ordered more. So you're more than welcome to purchase a hat anytime you'd like to. Actually, I'll probably give you one too.
How can I
You
do
get
that?
one shirt.
How can I do that? Where
I
can I,
just
buy?
said I would give you one. I'll send it in the mail.
Oh my gosh! What if any of our listeners want to buy one of those fancy hats?
All you gotta do is DM me, and I'll send them an invoice.
Oh, okay.
Hmm?
Good job, Skippy. Way to have a plan.
I'll ship it out to them. Always have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Plan
So
your
yeah,
work.
we it was a good week. Farmers market was scary for about an hour. Good spot. It was a busy, lots of vendors. They do live music. They do stuff for the kids. There was a guy doing balloon animals, and they do face paintings, and they have that every week at the farmers market. A lot of people in and out. We had 2 people between the 5 minutes before we were scheduled to open and the 5 minutes after, which is always good. And then we didn't see another person until just after 11 o'clock. So
You were open at
after
10?
an hour. Yeah, we were open at 10. And then it ended up being, I think we did somewhere between $800 and $900 for the over the next couple hours. So slow start. The organizer was very concerned that we didn't have people in the first hour. We work with her with a couple other festivals that we do in Granville, so she was very concerned about making sure that we had customers. So I think it'll only get better as we get more into fresh local stuff and people know that we're there. It was the first week, so even doing that, I was expecting a little bit lower turnout because it's the first week. We still had schools in session in the area, so
What day was this?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that ended up being a good day. Our dinners have been okay. We're definitely seeing this switch back to busier lunches and slower dinners, which is okay. We're still doing fine. We had, busy. I'm trying to think what the rest of the week was like. I almost want to say we took a half day on Thursday, but I don't think that's correct because we were at Brew Merchant, I think. Anyways.
Well, that pretty much was a half day.
Yeah. It was slow enough for Chris and I to be able to unhook our 6-burner commercial stove in the trailer and move it around and get it placed back into the trailer while we were open. And not have it disrupt service at all.
I thought you took it out.
We did, but I can't take it out and set it in the parking lot at Brew Merchant.
Oh, I didn't know that's why. I thought you took it out of home.
No, we just because we were just going to replace the piping and leave it in originally, but once we got it, I was like, fuck it, we don't need it.
Okay.
And then, so yeah, we just had it on the floor in the trailer, sitting loose, disconnected from everything.
It wasn't going to go anywhere. It weighs like 600 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's not on wheels or anything, so it wasn't moving. It didn't move an inch while we were in transit. So yeah, that came out after we got back. Yeah, I don't have my calendar. I can't remember what was what on which day, but I had a really hard time keeping track of days by the time we got to Friday.
Yeah.
Friday, so Friday we only worked 4 hours. We were only open 4 hours. We did a food truck Friday at Riverside Park in Grand Rapids. They do them every Friday from, I think this was the third one of the year, and they go every weekend through September. This was our first one we've ever done. We got there at the very beginning of the window to open or to set up. So we were there at noon. Didn't have to be open until 4. But not knowing what the parking situation was, and with having a trailer, wasn't sure if we'd have to maneuver around other trucks or not. So we were the second truck there.
Oh, wow.
After the organizer who also owns a truck, so third truck. But so yeah, we got parked, and we were about as far away from the information tent and beer tent as you could be. We were next to all the vendors, and it felt very much like we were the the non-Grand Rapids Food Truck Association members as we got set up. And when all the other trucks started pulling in, they were all set up away from us. It was all pre-planned, so he had a map that he was following. Everybody had their set locations. It just happened to be the way the flow. But yeah, it wasn't until probably 3:15 that we started having other trucks placed around us, which made me feel a little bit better. And we had a couple of our other friends, Airborne Burrito and somebody else. Somebody else said that they were in that same spot this year and said, "Don't worry, you're fine." So yeah, we did 228 transactions and
Jesus.
it was another slow start. 4 to 4:30 wasn't super busy, so we were done at 8. So we'll say 200 transactions between 4:30 and 8, give or take. And we had probably 35 to 40 people in line still when we closed. And Chris went out. Luckily, our brisket and pork were pretty even sellers. We had about the same amount of them, so they ran out pretty close to the same time. But we got down. I mean, we're starting to do the math on the pans, and like, okay, we have about 8 sandwiches or 8 items left to sell. So he went out and told everybody in the line of 40 people. Not one of them got out of line.
Just in case.
That's it. There's no more food.
Our first ever food truck rally, I had to do that. I guessed on how much I had, and I went out and picked a spot in line, and I'm like, guys, this is, chances are I'm going to be sold out after this. And yeah, probably 5 people after that still didn't get out of line.
It was like, unless you want just potato salad, coleslaw, or a pop, I got nothing for you.
We'll figure it out. We'll get you something.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to sell you something, but that's all we're going to have. You're not getting barbecue. So yeah, that was a good night. Saw one of the local taco trucks take the some sort of top part off of their exhaust, their big round exhaust on top of their trailer.
Yeah.
Trying to fit underneath the branches they were pulling out. And that thing shot off there like a frisbee and hit the side of somebody else's truck. I don't know what happened after that. I walked away from the situation. But I didn't want to see a fist fight.
Be glad it wasn't you.
Yep. So yeah, we were there. I didn't get home. Let's see, I got home, I think, just after 9:30, somewhere around there. And then the next day we had Kentwood Food Truck Festival, which so that one they had designated windows for trucks to show up, and we were in the 8:30 to 9 a.m. window. And we also had 38 pounds of pork sold that needed to be delivered in Newaygo that morning, hot. So I woke up at 3 that morning to make sure everything was off and ready, and then drove to Chris's house for him then to meet the person at 8 o'clock so I could be back in time to hook up at 8 and then pull in and get everything situated.
Oh boy, that was quite a run.
And then we did 280 transactions that day over the course of the 9 hours.
But you didn't sell out.
No, and we would have if I wouldn't have talked myself into additional pork. So
You cooked more. That's fine. I mean, you cooked more.
no, I cooked more on top of more.
Yeah.
So everybody was telling us at the Food Truck Fridays that they do about similar transactions for the Kentwood Food Truck Festivals as they do on a Food Truck Friday night.
Yeah.
Just spread out over a greater period of time. I was like, all right. But we sold out. So I was like, well, we had some extra pork prepped earlier in the week for whatever reason that we didn't end up needing in the fridge. So I was like, well, we'll take these 3 pans just in case.
Yeah.
And those are the only 3 pans of food we had left. So
Fair enough.
yeah, basically we sold out of everything we would have normally brought. We had extra
Did you
food in
bring
the fridge.
your
that was gonna
Cambros
get
with
through.
you?
What's that?
Did you have your Cambros with you?
One. We only needed one. We used the smoker to hot hold stuff, and we were going through stuff fast enough in the cabinet that we could slide stuff in there pretty efficiently. For the first time ever, we made macaroni and cheese while we were open for service. So without the 6-burner propane stove and the open flame, we have just a 4-foot stainless steel table in there with an induction countertop burner. So we were able to make a batch and have room and space to be able to do it. I don't want to do it very often, but it's nice to know that we can do it if we need to.
You said you were worried about that being able to boil noodles fast enough. Was it?
It takes longer,
Does it?
definitely. And it's a commercial burner. It's 1600 watts. But yeah,
Power was all good.
yeah, no problems. My bigger concern was power in the morning. Just with the plugs going into the house and the cable. So I go from a 50 amp to a 30 amp.
Yeah.
We've had issues with overloading one side of that before and melting the connector. So that was my bigger concern, trying to figure out. Luckily, my panel in my truck is laid out by legs. So the main breaker is in the middle. Everything on the top half is on one leg of the cable. The bottom half is on the other leg. Mm-hmm. And all my outlets are nicely labeled, so I can tell where I can plug it in and be off where everything else is on.
Yeah, so that's good.
So yeah, I had 0 problems. I think it'll be fine. And then yeah, just when we were open for service, we just made sure the AC was off while I made macaroni, and it wasn't super hot that day. So had I not had to run to Newaygo to drop off the pork, I would have had time to make it before we left. But it was a thing out of necessity, and it's good to know we can do it if we have to.
Do you ever keep your window open and then keep your back door open? Just to have like a little cross breeze kind of go through?
No, because our exhaust fan pulls in enough air.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, you're not going to feel it anyway, so.
Yeah. I'd rather... The door takes up too much space when it's open.
Yeah.
And I'm in and out of the smoker so much that it would just... I've tried it. I've done it before. And it's just too much of a pain in the butt.
I got you.
So yeah, over between the 2 days, we did just over 500 transactions. And I think we were just under 9,000 for the 2 days.
Yeah, fantastic.
So yeah, 4,100 on the first day, and then 47, I think, on the second day. And then we had yesterday by design, because I was exhausted and was planning on being pretty tired from the 2 days. I just had a 60-person catering drop off at noon. So
yeah, that's all.
Which was fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was up all morning cooking and stuff because, of course, they wanted macaroni and cheese and everything that needed to be hot. So,
yeah, because that's what happens.
I was home I had to go out to a catering job that we're doing next week where we're doing service off the truck. They wanted to make sure what they had planned was going to work. I think it will. Gear that, or we're going to run into some trees. We'll find out. So, yeah, I was home by 1 o'clock and took a nap and took another nap and took another nap. It was great. It was a nice, drizzly, rainy day here, and it was nice to be able to enjoy not feeling like I had to get outside and do stuff because it was raining.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine.
My yard needs to be mowed. It's been a couple days. It's finally starting to recover from the heat stroke. So, but now that it's cold, it's not growing fast. So,
yeah, no,
I think it's very comfortable out.
It's nicer right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, at least, but
So yeah, we have. We had a very busy first 10 days for not having any large catering jobs. It was a good first 10 days of the month. Really had my eyes set on the 50K in sales for the month. We have a decent catering day at least one every week this month. So that'll help, and hopefully we can have decent roadside days.
yeah.
We have a couple empty slots in the schedule. But there's one of the pretzel trucks was at Kentwood, and they have a storefront, and they've been hosting food trucks, and they came over to us and asked if we'd be interested in showing up. So hopefully we can fill in those couple slots with that spot. But yeah, it was a good week. It was a busy week. It's time for me to take my truck also in and get that last sensor changed. Just got to schedule a time with them. I'm getting the warnings from the truck. It's going into limp occasionally while I'm pulling the trailer. So, but it resets fine, and then it's good for like a few days. So, eventually it will stay in limp mode if I don't take care of it. So, better to do it now.
Yeah, you got to get that taken care of.
Being stuck. So,
Please hold.
Skippy is running. It looks like he has to poop, I think. Don't push too hard, Skippy. You don't want to invert the rectum. Oh, here he comes.
Just damn dogs.
Oh.
See, I didn't take care of mine, so you taking care of yours. I put a gate up, and then all I hear is anyway. So, you asked if I had before we started. You asked if I had a topic, and I kind of do. But do you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, you want to go back and touch base on our last couple of weeks, and Nick Lodato finally caught up with us, and he had some comments on our previous episodes.
Please hold. I will get to those comments.
While you're looking for those, Brandon had posted it on one of the food truck sites about he being invited to the Kentwood Food Truck Festival, which I thought was odd that he was invited. But anyways, he ended up having a trailer there. It wasn't him, but he had a couple guys in a trailer there.
Oh, he doesn't work a trailer ever.
Yeah, which is awesome. Good for him.
Not really, but okay. Anyway,
well, you're not going to like those comments from Nick.
No, you're talking about those comments. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I didn't go over and get food. I'm not sure how he did. It was hard to tell how busy anybody was because there was no sustained lines anywhere, for the most part. Like we were doing consistently $500 hours every hour, but never had a line that was more than 4 or 5 people. Because there was just constant flow in and out. Nobody had a line that we could tell for very long. So, outside of some of the ice cream trucks and Kona ice guys. So, yeah, so it's hard to tell how good everybody did. What we did hear from people was it seemed slower than normal there. So, I don't know if it was the threat of the rain.
$4,900 is slower than normal?
I know, I'll take it.
Jesus.
Yeah, we did 20 half pans of mac and cheese. And we're out by, I think, 6 o'clock. Somewhere around there. Yeah, I don't know how many. I know we did 70 loaded mac and cheeses on Friday night. And we did 16 pans of mac and cheese there. So.
A lot of mac and cheese.
Yeah, I mean, and that's normally a big seller for us. But we're also, so the Eat GR, the guy that runs that, has been doing throwdowns. We did a couple years ago. And he did one for mac and cheese that we entered this year. So I'm sure that's helping.
Kalamazoo has the mac and cheese festival. You should get into that.
Yeah, no thanks. I can't make enough. I just can't make enough mac and cheese. Same reason I won't do Rib Fest. The amount of ribs I'd have to cook to.
There's just no way to keep up.
Yeah, with the way that we cook them, there's just no way. Not without a couple extra cookers.
Yeah, you need.
And then you're
people
cooking
to
such a
swap.
volume that then I get nervous.
Yeah.
Like having that much invested in it, and then that's all we're selling for the
A lot
most
of
part.
butter.
Yeah.
A lot of butter.
So I think I figured it out that we'd have to do like 400 racks a day to break even.
Yeah.
With
There's really no.
Yeah. So
I mean, good for the people that do it, but there's no.
no, yeah, it's not for me. I'd rather do what we're doing. I know we are gonna. I mean, we kind of made a commitment to hitting more of these festivals this year, and we're gonna double down on that next year for sure.
Good.
There's so many of the smaller ones like Hippie Fest and all that stuff that.
I had a fellow food truck friend go to Hippie Fest and said it was awesome.
I really think it depends on the kind of food. I've heard other people say it was awful. Kind of like Blessing of the Bikes. Like there's a couple people that have been Blessing of the Bikes and it's been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, you hear from everybody else how awful it is. So
it was awful.
Yeah, it was awful. So yeah, we're definitely gonna, I think, really try to hit those hard. Probably get a list from, because I know there's websites out there that have festival lists, in dates and stuff, and contact info.
Michigan Fairs and Festivals.net or something like that.
Yeah.
I tried to find. I was just what I was trying to do earlier this year, and a lot of them don't post their stuff until, like I don't know, a couple months ahead of time.
Yep. So yeah, my plan will be to.
I missed a big one Saturday because I had a catering gig, and this is second year in a row.
Yeah. So I think my plan is to reach out ahead of time, get the list early, reach out now, and see if we can kind of get on like a wait list, priority list for them, if that's a possibility. Even if that means maybe kicking in a little extra money or something like that, just so we can get them on the schedule. Because yeah, I mean, $4,000 days are nice.
Those are fair. Those are very fair.
Yeah, we'll take those. So, yeah, it was a good week.
$4,000 day, but it was just catering.
And I'll take that too. Yeah, I mean, that's what our next couple Saturdays are going to be. Now they're both about that amount, and we have 2 open houses next weekend, and then the following weekend is a wedding. And yeah, I don't want to say it's easy money because there's still the stress involved, but it's not a whole day of service. You know,
so that we can go over. Well, let's go over next things first because I want to talk what you just mentioned. And it leads to what I want to talk about service at a wedding or an open house or something like that. So,
okay.
So yeah, last week, even the week before, we talked about being the face of your business and what does that actually mean. I believe it means something different than what you believe. And so we had our loyal listener, still not a top fan though, still doesn't have the top fan badge. Kind of give us his take. So Nick Ladata with Twisted Street Barbecue over on the east side of Michigan, or Upper East Side we can call him. He said, Bert, just because Josh is not at the window taking orders doesn't mean he's not the face of his company. That's called running a business. The last 2 years my truck was open. I was on my truck operating. This year, I finally found some good help that can actually tow the trailer and operate it without me. So this year, I'm trying to send all people out to events without me to focus on growing the business more. Working all day, every day is not feasible for a long-term time. You eventually need to train others to operate it so the business can still run when you're not there or need time off. So, and I mentioned, I agree with most of what he said. The part that I said, you don't need to be, taking orders or facing the window to be the face of the business, just need to be present. Good thing about being your own boss is work-life balance is up to you. No one is saying you need to work 6 days a week. So if I'm working my truck and I want to take a day off, I take a day off. I don't need to schedule days off. I don't need to worry about, granted, I lose business if I'm not, my truck's not out running, but that's the choice that I'm willing to make just to be the face, just to be there, just to be interacting with customers on a daily basis. You want me to keep going?
Sure.
He said, wouldn't you like to know that you could take a weekend off or go to an event that you couldn't normally go to if you're working and you're still making money? If you train your staff to do everything you do, you can step aside and market yourself more, take extra caterings that wouldn't normally take because you have extra help or couldn't drop off food while they go to an event somewhere else. Or heck, sleep in, let someone else wake up at 2 a.m. to start the smoker and throw meats on. And you could come in 7 or 8 and get other things ready. Granted, that is absolutely, I get it. I absolutely get it. So maybe it's not, maybe saying face of the business is not what I mean. Or maybe I'm just a control freak and just need to make sure that everything is done the way I want it. And if I don't think anybody can do it, I just do it myself.
And that's what I was saying. I think it was a couple weeks ago. I said,
I don't think it's.
I had to trust.
I think you need therapy.
I had to trust. Hold on. I had to trust that my 2 girls can deliver food for me because I couldn't be there. Do you know how hard that was for me?
Okay, how did it go?
Well, the fact that they didn't text me back and tell me that anything was wrong was good, but I guess I shouldn't have to follow up with them 3 times to see if everything was.
Nope. So there, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, we had 3 different open houses happening at the exact same time. All 3 were drop-offs, but all 3 happened at the same time. We all took one. I took one, Pam took one, and Chris took one. We all went to different locations.
Yeah, then we got to talk about dress code.
We have uniform shirts, and they can wear whatever they want on the bottoms as long as they're covered.
I guess I didn't make that clear enough when I gave her shirt. Anyway.
And so I lost my thought there. But yeah, so the deal is we get pictures. Pictures get sent to me when everything is set up. And they're gone. So, over the course of the last couple of years, with Chris doing some and Pam doing some, like Pam set up weddings and stuff, and she'll take her husband Denny with her occasionally, and I trust them enough to do it, because it's not.
This was a big trust thing. I mean,
it's not rocket
and I
science.
know they've done it for a friend of mine before, so I know they can do it. It's just not me overseeing it, I guess.
Yeah. It's putting food in pans, and once your staff has done 1 or 2 with you, it's not hard to duplicate. They're not doing any cooking on site. They're setting up food. This should be an easy thing for you to allow them to do. Our biggest snafus have been forgetting things. We forgot serving utensils, or we forgot plates, or something like that,
Yeah.
And that would have happened probably if I would have been there anyways. So
Maybe I will.
We double and triple check now before everybody leaves that they have everything. We print out the invoice order so they have all the list of things they need, and as long as a pan of brisket doesn't hit the driveway, we're usually good to go.
Or the sand.
We had that happen last year. Denny and Pam were taking stuff, and they had the Cambro in the back of the vehicle. My driveway's a little slanted. Denny left the door on the Cambro open, came back, and there was a pan of brisket in the driveway.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it a freak out moment or a whoops?
It was a whoops and a little bit of a freak out. Everybody was freaking out a little bit more than I was. It just meant that we couldn't give as much extra, because we usually send extra food with all our catering. So we just kind of peeled back some of the other stuff that we were doing, and it's fine, and everything's been good. So, but yeah, I mean, to be able to at least be able to get to that point where you can do a roadside event and send somebody to drop off, lunch for $60 at somewhere. At a minimum, you should be able to have that freedom, but I understand the want and the need to be the one controlling everything on the truck. And I was there the first year to 2 years. You know, you couldn't have pulled me off the trailer. But I also wasn't going full time. Even in 2020, we weren't going 6 days a week most weeks. Yeah. So I had the other time to be able to do those things on those other days. That I just can't. I don't have the time to do them now and do everything on the truck. So, and I know that you say that you don't have hobbies and you don't want to take vacations and stuff, but
no. I never said that at all. I said that's what the off season's for. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's segue into a food truck at an event, private event, service question.
Okay.
So this week we had a wedding. It's about an hour away from us. There was 2 food trucks there.
Okay.
We were told to cook for 100 people, which we had plenty of food. We showed up. The wedding party was entering the venue at 5, and food was to be served by 5:20. Okay. We got there shortly after 4 to make sure that we were parked and ready to go.
All good stuff.
The second food truck showed up at 5 to 5.
Okay.
Like shortly before 5 p.m. Now they were ready to go, so whatever. We had a line. We did like 75 tickets in less than an hour because we were on a minimum. So we did that. And then the other food truck came over to us and asked, "Hey, how long are you staying?" I'm like, it got me thinking. I never really talked to the bride about it. And I normally, now my minimum to stay for service is anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, just depending on how many people are there. So I was going to stay for 2 hours no matter what.
Right.
And if the bride wanted to let us go, they let us go. These people behind me were chomping at the bit to leave, just to go home, to be done. And it was probably 6:30.
Okay.
And then they started telling me, "Oh, we don't have much food left anyway." So it's like, did they run out of food and just wanted to leave so they didn't, get caught with their pants down?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? I said, well, I was going to go into the DJ at like 6:30 and say, "Hey, last call, if anybody wants food." And they're like, "Oh, well, we don't really have that much food left, so we don't really want to do that." So then they started backing out and making just a mess of the parking lot. But anyway, I think they hit a car. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I went in, asked the bride. Pardon me. Let me shut my door. Shut up. Damn dogs. They were just making just a huge stink that it was 6:30 and they just wanted to go. So that brings it up. So if you're cooking for 100 people, or do you have minimums on how long you stay? Like if there's nobody, there was probably nobody coming back out. I think I might serve one person from like 6:30 to 7. But I gave them leftovers, dropped them off, and they were appreciative. Gave me a $200 tip. I don't know if they gave the other ones tips or not, but whatever. Do you have a minimum that you stay for events like that, or do you always work on that prior to actually going there?
Yeah, that's all determined previously.
I thought she said maybe it was going to be like 5 to 8, and then she said no, 7's fine, but then because there was nobody coming back for food.
Right. So yeah, whatever our predetermined time is what we will do. So you were doing like sandwiches and stuff off the trailer, right?
Yeah,
like
I did pork and chicken quarters, and then beans and mac.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you determine that time frame ahead of time, and then whatever it is, it is. Now, for us, when we do buffet style for those types of events, and I know you don't do as many, but if it's to the point of, more than 60 people or so, depending on how many items they have, we bring the trailer to almost all of them, just to be able to use our warming cabinets to store stuff and to be able to clean up stuff and prep salads and buns and all that stuff, just to have our kitchen. So we let them know ahead of time that here's our plan. We'll allow the entire guests, all the tables to go through, and then we wait a half an hour after that for people to come back up and get more food. Gotcha. And then we start tearing down. We've never had anybody say, can we make it longer than that? And we'd be more than happy to work with that, but that's kind of where our standard is. We give them a half hour after the last table goes through. And we don't take anything back with us. We leave everything. So we're just taking chafing dishes, because we use our nicer chafing dishes for that than just the wire racks. So we start deconstructing everything and getting leftovers out on the table if there's any, and cleaning up and put them into nicer pans and clean foil and all that stuff. So, typically, depending on the size of the wedding, we're serving for an hour and a half, give or take.
Yeah. Okay. And I thought, like I said, I think my minimum is 2, just to make sure that everything is done right. There was 160 people there between 2 trucks, and we both did about 80 apiece. So I had definitely had food left over. I just want to make sure they got what they paid for.
Right. Yeah, and we've never done where it's a minimum time type of thing. It's never been whatever they want.
You don't serve off the truck, though? Or you rarely serve off the truck?
We do it more for open houses than we do for weddings.
Yeah, okay.
The majority of the weddings we have, they want people served within a certain time frame. They're more the traditional time frame of a wedding, so we want everybody within an hour so that we can move on to dances and stuff. I think we've only done 2 or 3 weddings ever that have been food off the truck.
Okay. Yeah.
It's much more common for open houses for us, where it's more of a casual. People are coming and going over the course of a 3-hour period or whatever. And for open houses, whatever that time frame is for the open house is what we're going to be there for.
Yeah, and that's I've probably done a better job at making sure that I've done open house times right versus anything else. So
we try our hardest. We try our hardest not to have stuff between 2 and 4.
Yeah.
So that way we can double up. So we can do a lunch open house and a dinner open house for off the truck.
When we had Tiki Sam's on here, that's what he's tried to do. Is he had like a brunch, we'll call it kind of like a brunch shift, and an afternoon shift.
And if I have someone sneaking into that 2-hour travel time window, I charge them more. So if they want it instead of 11 to 2, they want it noon to 3, I'll charge them more.
Yeah,
because sense. It's harder for me to get into an afternoon. I have to be pickier about what event I take in the evening then, because I have to make sure it's close enough that we can tear down, get there, and open back up within an hour instead of 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we had that situation. I think we talked about it last week with the when we did the Parade of Homes. We had an open house that morning that went until 3:00, and we were supposed to be up and open by 4:00 at the Parade of Homes. And luckily, they were only 5 minutes apart. So we got to pick our Parade of Homes location, and there just happened to be one that was 5 minutes away. So it worked out. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have probably had anything else that day.
Yep.
So, and then the Parade of Homes gig wasn't huge, but, it helps when you're already out and about. So.
Oh, absolutely it does. Okay. Well, that's good, because they were just chomping. It's just weird that they were chomping at the bit to leave. Granted, I was parked in front of them, but they were asking me when I was leaving. And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving until this time at least. But do you ever ask the DJ or something like that to do a last call?
We have before, yeah. And we'll announce kind of that deal with last call at open houses and stuff, depending on the layout of things and how big they are. But it's I think it's fine if we're doing service off the truck, absolutely. But if it's like buffet and we're just going to leave the stuff on the tables, unless they ask us to put it in a specific location, usually it's just left out on the table. Then they can come and go as they please. But
okay, good to know.
That's how we do it.
I'd cater every day of the week. 100%.
I'm like I said, this year is going to really prove my catering funness, because it's yesterday was the toughest one I've ever had. Two parties in one, and one that I couldn't control the drop off. So other than that, I mean, I have one that's kind of at the end of the month that's brisket and ribs for like 150 people. So that's always fun.
I don't know that we've ever had anybody order ribs for catering, and I'm probably going to take them off, because that is the exact situation that I'm worried about. Is where we get to ribs for 150 or ribs for 200. And it's like, now it's a space issue and a pain in the ass to cook issue. And yeah, we charge accordingly because it's such a difficult thing, but I don't want to risk the quality of the ribs,
Yeah.
to try to get it in. Yeah, I don't like being at or near capacity too often for stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either.
It gets harder to control timelines and to stick to timelines, and but yeah, I mean, everything's working, so yeah, we'll continue to push our limits, and it's the only way you figure out where your max is by going over it every once in a while. So
Pretty much.
I can't wait to get another trailer, another smoker, and
Yeah, so another trailer. You had mentioned that you take your big trailer, your only trailer at the moment, to open houses, weddings, and all that other stuff.
yep.
Did you ever consider just having a smaller one?
Yeah, we talked about it.
That you can just maybe throw a warmer and all your catering stuff in there just for that purpose, and that's all it does is just that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd even be good with like a cargo van that we could get some power into, and just to have like 2 proofing cabinets in it to hold stuff. And
Those half-size cabinets are expensive.
are they?
Yeah,
They're probably the same price as the full-size ones.
No, I mean, some of them are more. So anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 just for the half-size.
Were you looking for something to slide underneath a cabinet or a countertop?
I was absolutely.
Yeah, that's where my next trailer, I think we're going to run into a problem with refrigeration, because we want refrigeration underneath the counters for pop and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know all that stuff costs more when it's non-standard sizes, but
Yeah.
haven't we gotten to the point where half fridges are standard yet? Like at least a standard manufacturing size? Yeah, I mean, yeah, down the line, I mean, it'd be nice to have a catering vehicle, but at the same time, doing like a cargo van, I mean, we still lose sinks and washing ability, so
True.
if we're coming back to a commissary or our own commissary or something like that where we have access, then yeah, it's great. But I hate hauling dirty dishes. Drives me
Good
nuts.
thing about a catering trailer is it doesn't necessarily need to be set up as a mobile kitchen.
Right, but I'd like it to be.
For sure.
I mean, because there is downtime during those, and it's nice to be able to clean everything up and.
Oh, sure.
have
That's
it all
where just
done.
that's where a big ass laundry sink would come into effect. Or 2 of them together.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's all in the thought process for future growth, is to be able to have, a few different vessels for very specific
Yeah. I like
purposes. But yeah, like that whole van thing, I mean, it would be great for drop-offs and stuff, like to be able to use that to go out and have it semi-branded and, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, next trailer will definitely be a little, I think, a very streamlined festival, big event type of trailer. I mean, everything worked okay, and we have things that we can definitely tweak if we get ourselves into even busier events, which we potentially have coming. But yeah, having the ability to have 2 people making food and 2 people taking orders to be able to just mow down lines would be excellent.
Oh yeah.
We had one person Friday night said that we were dominating, and he was just basing that off of line speed.
Oh yeah.
He had said the last line he waited in was a half an hour, and he waited in line for us for 5 minutes with the same number of people.
So when you're doing service, is your service is kind of backwards, right? So you have your cash register all at the end window, and your handing out is kind of in that first window, right? Like right by your Steam table.
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering how that goes. So then, yeah, because you have the register, and that's much easier. So you just grab the tickets. And so at one time this weekend, how many tickets did you have up there?
I don't think more than 10. I was keeping up. Friday we definitely came closer to filling the rail than we did on Saturday.
How long of a rail do you have?
I don't know, 5 foot. We could probably fit, if we overlap them a little bit, I think I've had 16 in the rail, and then the last one has like 3 tickets hanging from it. Because I couldn't get Chris to slow down enough, and I didn't have any. There was just no room. And the way where our ticket printer is, it'll slide back behind it, and if you pull without really paying attention, you can lose the last couple tickets. They'll catch the lip of the Steam table, and you'll lose the tickets.
Whoops.
Yeah,
It's a whoops.
we've definitely had it full before, but yeah, we were able to keep up. Average ticket size for both days was pretty small. I think it was less than 20.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a lot of single sandwiches and stuff, and it's easier to keep up when you don't have those $100 orders. And we didn't do Durachos. We didn't do our nachos either day because they just slow things down. We probably could have for Saturday, just because of the flow was a little bit more manageable, and maybe we will next time. But yeah.
So I did hot dogs for the first for a couple different events, to somewhat kid friendly events, I guess you'd call it. We had a block party on Friday. I just cooked 24 of them just to see how they would go. I think we left with like maybe 5 or 6.
So that wasn't by request. That was
That was just me doing it. Just as we did a kids meal. It was a hot dog and mac and cheese for $8. Just because I know it was a neighborhood, and I figured why not? Let's just try to do it. But that's the thing is like my helper's like, why don't you do hot dogs for kids? I'm like, well, because it's a lower ticket price.
Right.
The whole goal is to get them, like, my whole goal is to get them to spend $20 every time, or a minimum of $20 every time.
Yeah.
So let's say you go to a subdivision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you ever have the organizers of said sub come up to you and say, hey, how'd you do tonight?
Yeah. All the time.
Okay. So if it was slow, do you tell them it was slow, or do you say, nope, did good?
I am 100% honest with all our people.
All right. What do you do? Do you do anything if they're like, hold on, let me go find you more business?
Well, that's never happened.
I had that happen Friday. So this is the second time we went to this block party. It's just the end of the school year block party.
Mm-hmm.
The first time it was like 3 hours. We did like $1,200. So not life changing, but still a good 3 hour service.
Okay.
And by the time we were done with this one, we were at like 900. And maybe I think we were at like 40 tickets or whatever. So lower amounts or whatever. Anyway, so the guy comes over and says, how'd you do? I said, yeah, a little bit slower than last time, but okay. He's like, well, where do you need to be? I'm like, well, any subdivision we go, we try to get 50 tickets. That's our goal. They're like, hold on. All right. They're like, okay, great. So I'm shutting down. I shut the generator off, close the window, like let my help go home. Like everything's good until he comes over with like 8 more people just to buy food to make sure I hit my goal, which
right.
I solely like. I appreciated it beyond belief, but it's like, okay, everything was still hot. I didn't even turn the generator back on. I opened the window and just started serving people, But it was weird that and then they wanted to book me for next year already, which is great. But it was just they took it upon themselves to make sure that I hit my goal.
Right.
And I thought that was amazing. So I didn't know if you ever had something like that happen.
We've had people in subdivisions, typically they don't, if they're asking us towards the end of the night, they know that they know that we're out of there within a couple minutes after close time. So, but yeah, some of them ask us about halfway through how things are going and stuff. We've had people reshoot out messages to the Facebook group of the subdivision.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that sold us out a couple times this year, she's asked for regular updates and letting people know when we're running low on stuff and to hurry up and get over there. So yeah, I think it's, if someone came up 10 minutes beforehand and said, you know, how were things? And we said, I don't know, not great. Like, okay, let me go get you some more people. I don't know that we might stay open for a few more minutes. Like, give it 5 minutes past close time to see if someone walks up. And we've kind of mastered our slow close process, where the electronics are the last thing to come down.
Yeah,
the register's the last thing to shut down.
Yeah, instead of like getting out of there fast, you kind of wind it down. Like you don't close down, you wind it down.
Yep. So everything else is put away except for the menu on the side of the trailer and the register. Nothing gets tossed in the trash yet. We're just kind of holding on. If we have to re-dirty a couple spoons, it's not a big deal. But yeah. So it's nice to have ambassadors that are willing to do that for you. That care because they want you to come back. You know. And luckily, we have a pretty good group of those that care enough, and we get asked by other people in the subdivision how things are going. We want to make sure that things are going well enough that we come back.
Exactly, that makes it feel real good.
Yeah, to know that everybody's kind of on your side, that they like the food and they want you to come back because it's the night they don't have to cook. You know, so
exactly, yeah. Good topic.
Yeah, good job, Skippy. Way to go, buddy. Nailed it.
I try my best.
So I mentioned the Eat GR group. It's restaurant heavy. There's no promotion allowed. So it's just people posting pictures and experiences at local restaurants. You can ask for recommendations for certain kinds of restaurants in Grand Rapids. And that kind of thing.
Okay.
The creator of the group did a Facebook Live in response to someone posting, and all posts have to be approved. So it got through. They approved the post anyways. Someone that was looking for a food truck, I think this week or something like that, for a lunch service or something like that. So this prompted this Facebook Live talk with him, which he does occasionally. The truth about food trucks.
Oh. Okay.
I made it about 5 minutes before I turned it off because I couldn't stop rolling my eyes. I got dizzy. Some good points, but I saw him on Saturday, and it took a lot for me not to.
Was he just bashing? Was he bashing food trucks?
So it was a lot of, if you are looking for a food truck for the next day, the next week, even the next month, realize that there's certain echelons of food trucks. And likely, if you're going to get a food truck that's available in the next week, they're probably going to be at the B to C level of food trucks.
Oh.
And I'm not going to say who's in which level. You guys can figure that out. And this was after I had responded, because we just happened to have some wiggle room that we could fit this thing. And so we had responded to the thing, saying that we were available. I was like, you saying we're a B or a C level food truck? Like, how many food trucks did he just fucking offend on this group?
He offended,
90% of them, probably.
Oh.
Because even the truck that he adores and can't stop talking about, Patty Matters, which upper echelon food truck, have been up for national awards for best food truck in America, blah, 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 blah. Even they book things last second. Like, they're throwing their hat in the ring for other stuff, too, in the next couple weeks. But he had mentioned how they do such a great job of making sure that they're booked out, and you probably can't even get them booked for the next 4 months. And they are the epitome of getting themselves booked. I was like, so the fuck are we? I don't have a Saturday available until mid-September.
Yeah, me too.
So I was like, yeah, we're all out here busting our asses. And I understand. So I get where he's coming from. Don't expect to keep your expectations low about the premier food trucks in Grand Rapids, the ones you see all over the place. You know, that you're probably going to get a newer truck potentially, or just a lesser known truck. And there are, I think we're 40, 50 trucks in Grand Rapids area right now that are a part of the association. So plus all the ones that aren't a part of the association. So there's a plethora of food trucks out in the world in Grand Rapids. There's so many. So those you can get a perfectly good truck last minute. You just got to be careful and do your due diligence and check reviews. But yeah, so and then on when I saw him Saturday, he took a picture of us with some food, and he's now doing a daily spotlight of food truck owners.
That's nice of him.
We don't get the press that the restaurant owners get and the credit that the restaurant owners get necessarily. So, and we were his first truck featured. So, I don't know.
Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. It was a very nice little blip and write up on the Facebook post. So. Maybe we're in the A group instead of the D group. I don't know. Name names. Grow up here and tell us who you think's in the D group.
I mean, if you are in the D group, wouldn't you want to know that? And then, I mean, you probably already know that if you're not booked, according to what this guy says. But
yeah, I don't know. A big part of that group has always been a very positive type place. They try to keep negative reviews to a minimum unless they're completely objective. So none of the emotional type reviews, kind of thing. So there are some negative things on there, but they're very well curated. They're very well written as constructive, not this place sucks, never go here, blah, blah, blah. Type of thing. So they do a very good job on positive promotion of Grand Rapids food. So yeah, I don't think they would ever go to give a list of lesser level food trucks.
So how familiar you are with MLive?
What do you mean, how familiar am I? They own every paper in the state of Michigan, pretty much.
So, which brings me to I see a lot of our local food trucks get a spotlight or a Facebook ad, or not ad, but Facebook call out story written about them on MLive.
So I would check further. It's probably not on MLive, but it's probably on a local paper that was picked up by MLive.
Okay.
So like all the Grand Rapids Press stuff, the Grand Rapids Press newspaper, all their stuff is on MLive. There's not a Grand Rapids Press Facebook page. It all just cycles through MLive.
Oh, all right. Maybe I'll look at that.
So yeah, you might be able to get a spot.
On them because I never click on them because I get so irritated that nobody's called me.
Why have they called me? I have a food truck.
Yeah.
And yeah. The other thing with MLive, and I'm sure it goes across all of the papers across the state, is that it's subscription and you have to pay to read any article. So,
yes.
But yeah, I would reach out to your local paper and whoever runs the lifestyle and food or art section or whatever, and just see if they would be interested. I mean, it's an easy email to send, and that way you don't have to listen to the rejection. You can just read it. It hurts less that way. In my opinion, I'd rather read rejection than listen to it.
I would agree.
So they can't hear my tears.
So I just got an email from a potential booking private event, and they had said that we just got word from the city that they're in that for any food trucks to service our event, so it's a private event, they need to go to the local police station, submit a background check, then pay a fee for a peddler's permit.
Yep.
You also need to have insurance on the venue for the day, which I would assume is a standard practice for food trucks. If this is something you cannot do, please let me know. So I assume when they say you need to have insurance on the venue for the day, I assume that just means I need to add them as additional insured.
Yeah.
But it's their company.
What do you mean?
It's a private event.
So you add the company as additionally insured. If
what
they own, whoever the property owner is, you need to add them as an additionally insured.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Big JT is trying to get on. He's only speaker.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and the rest of that stuff was pretty normal. We had to do the only time no, that's not true. We've had to do background checks a couple times. The biggest issue we had was when we went up to the Sioux for that week.
Oh yeah.
I actually had to go into the police department the morning we got up there to get fingerprinted.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then everything had to be rushed in order for us to be able to sell the next day after we got there. But they were fine to work with. They understand what was going on, and it was a pretty quick in and out process. But yeah, I thought it was weird that I needed to be fingerprinted.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
And it was old school ink and paper, not like a digital. I mean, it is a Sioux, and they're 40 years behind everybody else. So I guess it makes sense.
So yeah, I mean I've done that before. That's fine. I paid for a background check. They normally use iChat, which is from the state police. Cost you $25 to do it, though. I'll just throw that in the quote.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fine to pass that stuff along. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I was thinking, but I had a thought and then it was gone.
Don't hurt yourself.
Oh, let's swing back through on barbecue stuff. The city of Dowagiac.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it come through. I don't know if that was on the Great Lakes page or not. They added a KCBS. What is the amateur side called?
Competitor series?
That's the competitor series. What's the other side? Masters? Is it competitors and masters or something like that?
Yeah. So typical 4-meet is masters. Other one's competitors.
This is how far out of the loop I am on all that stuff now. So yeah, they're doing a competitor series in conjunction with a festival.
Ooh,
next month, I think. So,
you're free? You're going to do it?
Compete?
Yeah.
No. We're going to go vend.
Get back out there. Get back up. Are you going down there to vend?
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'll go down to vend for
at the same time.
No.
Come on. Big JT will do it. He'll tell you to do it.
Good for him. I am still not in the competitor. I still consider myself a Master Series material, so I am not one of those people that will go back and forth to do a quick rib burn as part of the competitor series.
Competitor series is more than just rib burns.
I understand, but it's still the amateur leg of KCBS. Huh?
You haven't been a master in 4 years now?
I competed 2 years ago.
How'd you do?
Still competed.
I'm just fucking with you.
Some of us work for a living.
Yeah, I do. I'm with you.
No, we'll go down and vend. So we're filling out that application. We had a couple. Yeah, it was a weird weekend for us, where we had an event that they canceled it, and so we have some things we can move around on the Friday and the Sunday. So why not? likely would do better there without knowing numbers than we would regular roadside. So
That was JT. So all the we are doing something like that. We're going down to Sturgis. They have a barbecue festival barbecue festival at the end of September. So we're gonna do that one. We're gonna bend and do something. What?
Fun. Good. I like the small town festivals. I think there's potential for them to you have good business, and the one in Marcellus that we did, the Bluegill Frolic, was the one that had me nervous last year because that is a very small town. I think we still did 2,500 a day, somewhere 2,000 to 2,500, somewhere around there. So still good days. We sold out both days, and we definitely left money on the table the first day. So, special guest band Slim Knot, I think is who that is going to be there.
Slim Knot.
Slim Knot, yeah. I'm going to guess a Slipknot cover band.
Okay.
Very excited to see that. So, but yeah, it should be. I like those, and I was really looking for those smaller events because we're set up well for them. But yeah, we might test our boundaries just a little bit more next year on some of the bigger stuff. So, as much as I hate traveling and leaving the trailer on site places, especially when we have to get a hotel room for a couple nights. So,
I mean, it's I don't know. Competing to me is still somewhat fun. I don't do it every month anymore. I don't do it every other month.
I'm not saying it's not fun.
Not
I would love to go compete.
I want your chicken and waffles again.
But I can't. It's not worth it financially for me to shut down the business for a weekend.
Correct. You have more priorities, or you have more responsibilities than I do.
No, I just like making money.
Completely understand.
So it's kind of that whole, why do you keep selling out? You're just leaving money. You should make more food. You're leaving money on the table. Well, for me, competing is leaving a whole lot of money on the table.
True that.
I mean, what does it take for you to make $2,000 at a contest?
A lot.
Yeah.
I get it.
A lot has to go perfect for you to make that kind of money.
It absolutely.
And to get lucky.
But at the end of the day, for me, it's a small price to pay for hanging out, because it's not. Even if I make $2,000, it's still.
Skippy, you can come over to my house any evening you want, and I won't charge you a penny, and you can come hang out.
I'll come play with your dogs. Your dogs are cool.
See? For me, it's exactly what it is. I'm giving up 2 days worth of sales to go hang out.
For sure. Absolutely.
And maybe make some of that money back.
But when we talk about when we talked about Nick's comment and your comment about being face of the business and all that wonderful stuff, the part I said is work-life balance. If I choose to take a day off, I choose to take a day off. Yeah, so I know going to compete.
When you have people working for you, you can do that too, and not lose the revenue.
When I go to compete, I'm choosing to take days off. And that's fine. It works for me.
I know, but wouldn't you rather take days off and not have to close down your livelihood?
If I can do that, if I can take days off and not worry about my livelihood, I'm absolutely fine with that.
Okay, but you have to take baby steps to get there.
Completely understand.
Okay.
My first baby step was this weekend.
I know. Good job. I'm very proud of you, by the way. Good job. But seriously, therapy might be good for you.
Completely understand. I have another event in August that I need to go do a drop off while the two girls are serving. And that's going to be extremely hard.
Oh, that'll be different then. That'll be even harder for you. Yeah.
This is the opposite, because I have to go park the trailer, and then I have to go drop off food and come back and hope that it's still going well.
I want a live stream of this whole thing. I think you need to go Facebook Live from the moment you leave the trailer and just have the video on you, just so we can see the range of emotions from the whole thing. I think it would be great. I think everybody would love to see that. No, but that's a great step for you. The biggest test that my group had was last year when I dropped that pallet on top of my foot the day of a wedding, and I was running the 104-degree fever. I couldn't go. JT says set up a GoPro. JT would like to see that as well. We and that was our family
to worry about.
That was our family style service event, which we had never done before. And it was Chris and Pam and Denny, and I found a couple people that lived down in the area to come help them and paid them money, cash, to come help. And they figured it out, and they worked their asses off. And I am still eternally grateful for them and going down and figuring it out. And that was one where I couldn't get enough feedback while they were just too busy. They couldn't do it. But it all worked out. They all hated me for about a day and a half. But then we moved on, and Chris found out that he was capable of more than he thought he was. And we're better prepared for the next time that this eventually will happen, where I won't be able to go.
Hopefully, it never happens again.
Yeah. JT says he's with you. My name is my business, so people always ask to talk to me, or if I'm JT, so it's hard to give up control. So you got one on your side, buddy.
Well, JT, it's a small side to be on, bud. But I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to give up everything. I'm just saying you don't have to make
his name it's Big JT's.
Yeah.
So
and we had talked about it said to be a little bit different. Maybe if it was Josh's barbecue, and and I wasn't there.
You can't have Big JT's and then some skinny guy bit.
Right. So
no offense, buddy, but it just doesn't work out.
He's a solid barbecue medium. So yeah, you can't get to 2 trailers and be able to control every aspect of everything and every sandwich. So everything was you just kind of work towards it, and you give up a little bit at a time to be able to get to where you want to be. And not everybody wants to be in the same spot, or has the same end goal. I don't want to retire and leave the business behind. I want to be able to retire and still have the business making money and me still cashing checks for it. And for there to be residual from that. So that's what I'm working towards. And that's not necessarily the goal that everybody needs to have. So as long as you're happy, Skippy, and what you're doing, then great. But I think you are capable of a lot more. And I want more for you.
And when I can stop hearing horror stories about hiring people that are just there to make a couple dollars and don't give a shit about what they do. Nobody's going to care more about your business than you do.
Absolutely, 100%. You should never expect that. And that's, I think, where people fail as business owners, is that they expect somebody to come in and care as much as they do. They're not going to.
And I get it. But that's the part that will always be tough.
What you need to do is get somebody that's going to give you the value that you're paying them. That's all you need to do.
And then she shows up in a freaking dress to deliver food. But anyway. Just need to have better communication skills.
Yes. You have to set up the expectation and go from there. And Lord knows that I haven't done the greatest job with some of the people we've had. So, but we have another ad out, and that we're looking for another couple part-time people. So we'll see. But you're never going to stop hearing horror stories about employees. I mean, it's not like it's a new thing. That's the way it's been forever. I worked with plenty of those people when I was a teenager. I was one of those people for a while when I was a teenager. You want people to take pride in what they are doing.
Nobody does. Nobody cares about what they're doing. They're just there for a paycheck and hope that's it.
That's not a fair statement. You need to search for people in a different way then. You haven't even searched for
I'm not
employees yet.
searching. I'm not searching for anybody. It's just what I hear from other people, not showing up, just doing whatever they want. Like it's terrifying for me to go through the hiring somebody that you think is going to be great and work out and everything like that, and come to find out they end up being just an absolute dirtball, and having to let them go. And like it's my mom has been in HR for 40 something years. So, I mean, I've heard her horror stories about hiring people and then having to let them go. And it's like, it's just, I have a friend of mine that's opened a brick and mortar and just churn through people.
Mm-hmm.
Now it might be him, might be the business. I don't know. I'd hope to think that I would, I guess, do a better job of valuing people, but it's just, I don't know, it's that kind of thing for me, I guess. Yes, therapy may help. I don't
I'd say you have some fear and control issues, but I'm no professional. If you never take a chance on anything,
what it is?
you're
You know what it is? It is a fear. It's a fear of disappointment.
Yeah.
It's a fear that
expect the worst and never be disappointed.
That's why everything in life is fair, because you can't go much below fair. Under promise and over deliver. I mean, it's
absolutely. I'm a firm believer in under promise and over deliver. And yeah, it's.
But if I'm not the one there to over deliver, that's the problem. That for me, that's the control issue. Like if I'm with somebody, I'll let them make food and all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still there. You know, I can still say something if I don't think something is right.
Right.
If for some reason we go to a food truck festival and we did $4,000 and was just slam packed, and I cooked the same amount for the same food truck festival, and we do $2,500 and we still sell out, like that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to have portions, scoops, and not handfuls. And I know that you are doing that now, so that's good.
For the most part.
For the most part. But
I just kind of threw that in there real quick.
Yeah.
Kind of just stopped you in your tracks. Well, it's funny. What's funny is, okay, so I have a, I guess I'll call it a medium size hand. But then the girl who works with me has what I would consider a smaller hand.
So she needs a hand and a half full.
She does too. No, she just grabs like it's a claw machine coming down. No,
JT says a scale works wonders for meat portions.
It works. Actually, I finally put one on the truck just in case.
And we have had one since day one.
Well, you also sell by the pound. I don't normally. When somebody asks for a pound of brisket and I put it in a box, I said, "You're going to have to trust me. This is about a pound."
That feels about right.
They look at me like, "That's fine. I don't care." I'm like, "It's a pound with the sauce I add to it."
And the extra juice. Jesus, Skippy. But, so, when you leave and they're making sandwiches like next weekend, you have to set the expectation.
Oh, thank God, that's not next weekend. That's August.
Or whatever it is.
But yes,
So you let them know that you expect the sandwiches to be made the same, whether you're there or not. And then you know what you do? You find somebody in the area, maybe one of your special customers that's going to be there, or regular, and you say, "Hey, let me know. Order this, take a picture of it before you eat it, and send it to me." Have your own secret shopper. Yeah. I've secret shopped my restaurant before, my food truck before. And that'll be a surprise to Chris when he listens tomorrow. You have to. You have to secret shop. How else are you going to know what's going on?
But I'm always on the truck, so I don't have to secret shop.
I understand. But this is where you put in policy and expectations.
Yes, I
and then,
fully understand that.
Yes.
It's hard, but
I know it is, but the other side is so much better when you can step away for a couple hours and you can still, refresh your sales report every 3 seconds. And Lord knows I've been there. You can still kind of see it. And if you need to go back, you can go back, but to be able to take care of some things or go across the street to the coffee shop, and do some paperwork or do some Facebook work, do some ads and answer some emails while your truck's running okay is a godsend. And it helps so much to be able to do that without having to head back home at 8:00 and then do that then, or try to squeeze it in between your morning stuff. So at least for me, if something comes up and you have to be at your house for a couple hours for something that needs to be done, that you don't have to close down for the day on something that was already scheduled. So
I did have a whole jar of pickles break on my floor yesterday.
Oh God, we've been there. Ours was, I think it was, Chris went to go put it down in the cabinet and it just bumped the other jar, and for whatever reason it shattered. He just comes back holding the lid's still attached in the bottom or the top half of the jar. He's like, I don't know what happened.
It was magic.
Yeah. We have. Oh, geez, I forgot about all that stuff that happened last Friday.
Oh, do we have some breakage?
Oh, just my ankle and a pair of shorts and.
What? Hold on, we got 4 minutes. Let's run this through.
So after we took out the stovetop and put in the table, now we used our oven for storage of pans and stuff, and we were able to put some stuff on top of the stove when we were moving because it held stuff well.
Yeah.
Now we have a smooth stainless steel table and a shelf. Doesn't do as well as holding things as we'd like. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to reorganize the trailer, where we're going to put stuff. Chris suggested putting...
You have a shelf underneath?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Good.
Chris suggested that we put the nacho cheese up above our steam table, on that shelf above our steam table. I said, well, how's that going to work when you're ladling up and over? I said, you got to jump around and see how much cheese is left in there. And as I was doing that little maneuver with the door open and on the porch, my foot came down on the little threshold ramp, I have a high ankle sprain. So as I came down, I fell. My ass cheeks landed in the ash pan for the smoker, which I had just emptied a half hour earlier. Melted my shorts with holes all over my ass. This is all while we're at service.
Your ass was on fire.
It may have been smoking. I'm not 100% positive.
Jesus.
So yeah, I have a smoky, melty ass, smoking butts, and a sprained ankle, and have an hour and a half left of service to finish.
Sprained ankle and smoking butts.
Yeah, and then I think we had something happen the next day. We had another catastrophe too. Oh, that same day, later on when we were closing up shop, Chris went to go put the display can of Sprite into the tote. He says as soon as he put it down, it exploded. And it did. It shot a hole through it. The whole can rippled, and he was just covered in Sprite, and so was everything else in the... Yeah, it was a day. But we laughed about it. Some of us harder than others. But yeah, it was a...
I'm now just picture you like Wile E. Coyote who just got his ass on fire, and he's running around the trailer just trying to...
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is so awesome.
It was a day. It was a long week, man. There was a lot that happened last week.
Well, just so you know, I've slowly pissed off my wife because now her side of the garage now has my outlaw in it. She can sneak through. She can sneak through, but
I lost my third stall again because now I have a 6-burner commercial stove in it. Hey JT, since you're building a couple trailers, do you need a 6-burner commercial stove? I'll sell you one cheap, and I have a fryer. And a fryer. I have both. Package deal, $1,500. They're all yours.
he'll even deliver it too.
No, I won't. Come pick it up. I'll leave him by the side of the road.
He lives way down in South Indiana.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'll meet you halfway. But I need them out of my possession.
He needs them out of his life.
Either that or I'm going to take them for scrap.
The one that you gave me just got picked up for scrap yesterday. So
How much did you get for it? Anything?
no, I just said, hey, do you pick up scrap? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, come get it.
I wonder how much they got for it.
Well, they still had to get the refrigerant out of it first.
Yeah. Skippy, where are you going?
Sorry, my dog was.
We have to say goodbye before you walk away.
I didn't walk away. Just walked to my window. Right here.
JT has 2 fryers he's trying to sell currently. I talked to a guy at the food truck festivals Friday or Saturday, and he has a bunch of stuff that on a trailer that he bought that he's trying to get rid of that he doesn't need. He's like, no one's buying used stuff, which doesn't make any sense to me because everybody wants a trailer.
Does he still have his old hickory?
I don't know. JT, do you still have your old hickory? Probably. We'll see if he responds here in the next couple seconds.
Ed from Hog's Backyard Barbecue has a nice old hickory rotisserie. And, yeah, I don't know how people do it with just CTOs. But to me, they just don't seem like they have a lot of room.
Dude, you're doing everything on an outlaw.
No, I get it, but I'm just... these people that do festivals and stuff, it just doesn't seem like a CTO has a lot of room.
Yeah.
Our friend Nick has a double CTO, and I can see that has a lot of room.
Well, maybe you need a BFO. Why didn't you get a BFO?
Because those are really expensive. Those are...
he does not have a CTO. He currently has a Traeger 200 commercial, but he's looking for a rotisserie for sale. So
I thought all right. Sounds good.
He does have a Humphreys Gravity for sale, though, if you're interested. I might be. I'll trade you a 6-burner commercial stove for it.
And a fryer.
And a fryer that you don't want. All right. That's it today, guys. For those that are listening live, thank you, JT. Thank you. If we have anybody else, I haven't seen Bubba on in a while. That I'm aware
he's just busy.
Yeah. Finally working.
I don't know. So going back to my company event real quick. Sorry, before we go.
Yeah.
I said, I said I can add them to the insurance, and they're like, yes. They request you to insure the park for that day.
Yeah, just add them as an additionally insured.
Okay.
That way, if anything goes wrong, it's going to come back and hit your insurance instead of theirs. So
sounds good.
JT, we go live at 10 o'clock. So 10 to 11:30 is our normal time frame. Eastern, I think. I don't know, wherever you're at in Indiana. I'm sure it's still Eastern. I had to forget where the lines are now. So yeah, that's it for today. You can go back, JT. I think after we close this out, it posts pretty close to immediately. So you can go back and listen to the first 3 quarters of the show. But that's it. We'll be back next Monday. I might have a schedule issue next Monday. I think I have a cardiologist appointment right around recording time. So we will play that by ear. Oh, and hey, Nick Lodetto's on.
Well, he's gone now.
He says if you train your staff correctly, you just need to trust they will do it right. And that's where I think we have the problem, Nick. And it takes time to get there. So Skippy's doing some baby steps, and we're proud of him.
Okay, be proud of me. Bye.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good week. We will talk to you next week. Take care. Peace out. See ya.
Peace, love, and barbecue.